Can Galaxy Note 9 replace iPad mini? That video is coming up right now. Let's go. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology, and welcome to Can the Galaxy Note 9 replace the iPad mini? Now, I did a video similar to this before where I said the Note 9 was actually better than an iPad in the past. Got a lot of heat for that one. But in this case, I've been using this for about a week, and I'm not finding it to be that much larger than a powerful phone like the Galaxy Note 9. And I'm starting to think, is an iPad mini even worth it if you already have a large phone? Okay, so in terms of the size, no, the Galaxy Note 9 I don't think is large enough to replace that screen on the iPad mini fully, because it's just over an inch smaller, which is very noticeable. Now, if you start getting up into the 7-inch range, like on the Huawei Mate 20X, for example, that's 7.2 inches. We're getting closer to that of an iPad mini. So in terms of the sheer size, I think the iPad mini still has enough of an advantage to choose something like this over a phone. The Samsung Galaxy Note 9 screen, after a while, might still get a little bit cramped, but you got to remember that the Note 9 does support Samsung DeX. So if you do need to take this screen up a notch, you can go ahead and plug it into DeX through a monitor. You can have a keyboard and a mouse, and you could turn your phone into a full-blown computer. So the Galaxy Note 9 has options. Now, one area where the Galaxy Note 9 just stomps on the iPad mini in terms of display is the quality. So you have a Super AmOLED display here, 1440p resolution. There's a much higher pixels per inch on this phone. The colors are just better. So I would actually say the Note 9's movies look better than the ones on the iPad mini, just because the display looks better. It's got better contrast, better blacks, and everything like that. So even though the iPad mini screen is bigger, the Note 9's just looks better. But one thing they both have in common, and maybe a reason why you could consider replacing an iPad mini or just using a phone like the Note 9 instead of just getting this product, is they can both go into the landscape mode. So let me go ahead and show you this here for the Note 9. Let's go ahead and turn on auto rotation, and you're going to see right here that my Galaxy Note 9 will rotate just like a tablet. So you can use this like a tablet just as you would on the iPad mini. So that's a huge advantage over some other phones that don't do this and only stay in portrait mode for the Note 9. When it comes to productivity and doing split screen, you could do this on both products. And the Note 9 actually, I think, can do a little bit more in this regard, as it does have the split screen as does the iPad mini. You can do this up and down for this device. Also, if we go here, there's more you can split, and you can also bring things into a pop-up view, something you can't do on the iPad mini. In addition, Samsung has now brought a dock to the One UI. So if you do have a Galaxy Note 9 with the One UI update, you can see you do have a little dock down here. Now, that means that it basically has every feature in terms of multitasking that the iPad has. So you do have the ability to go split screen here at the iPad. You can bring up the dock, which is a little bit different than the Note 9. You actually have to go into Recents to bring up the dock, but there is a dock for the One UI. So I would say that in terms of what you can do in multitasking, the Note 9 is just as productive as this device, except for the fact that you have a larger screen so you can see more, which just really depends on what you want to use. But at the same time, they both have similar features in this aspect, with the Note 9 having even more with the pop-up view. Now, one thing that really benefits the iPad mini is the 4:3 aspect ratio. It gives you a nice wide keyboard, so typing on the actual virtual keyboard might be more enjoyable for the iPad mini just because it's so much larger than that of the Note 9. Also, applications do allow you to just fit more on the screen due to its aspect ratio. It's a wider display, which just gives you more space overall. So if you're looking for the most space on a product, you definitely are still going to like having an iPad mini along with a smartphone. But if you can live with the smaller size, I just think there's so much power here to be had that the 18:9 display type here for the Note 9 should be plenty enough. It also has no notch, no cutouts, and pretty slim bezels, so it kind of feels like a mini pocket tablet in the Note 9. So an area where it hasn't even been close in comparison is the battery life. So no, I don't think the Note 9 can replace the iPad mini in terms of battery life, because it does have a much longer lasting battery life, like 3 hours more. We're getting about 10 hours on the iPad mini versus about 7 in usage on the Note 9. Now, the Note 9's battery life is amazing, for a phone, some of the best you're going to find out there. But the iPad mini does go just a bit longer. Now, when it comes to their performance, they're actually quite comparable. We have a Snapdragon 845 with 8 gigabytes of RAM, and over here an Apple A12. Now, the A12 does bench a little bit higher than that of the Snapdragon 845, but the 845 has proven itself to be a very powerful chipset. So I think when it comes to performance, you're not going to have an issue with either. Now, the iPad mini only gives you 3 gigabytes of RAM. So in terms of processing performance, I would give it to the iPad mini. The efficiency of the applications with Apple is actually really good as well. So just apps and power, I do like the iPad mini a lot. But for multitasking, I like the 8 gigabytes of RAM on the Note 9. At this point, every tech product that seems to come out is so powerful that this is not even really a deciding factor. But if you're asking yourself, can I just keep the phone? Yes, I think the Note 9 is just as powerful enough that you won't even have to get an iPad mini just because, oh, it has an A12 CPU. Can the Note 9 replace the iPad mini when it comes to the S Pen versus the Apple Pencil? And what's neat about the Note 9 is that the S Pen can actually go in the body of the Note 9, meaning you'll never lose it. With the Apple Pencil, you can actually lose this thing. But I would say if you're really into precision and drawing and sketching and stuff, I think the Apple Pencil has got the Note 9 beat. But if you're into just jotting down notes, stuff like that, and plenty of people in the pen-up community are going ahead and sketching out amazing work on the Note 9. So yes, you can do so on the Note 9 as well. But I think if you're looking for a little bit more precision, you just have a bigger pencil here, more screen to write on, the iPad mini is better. But I think the Note 9 does enough that you probably won't be missing having this setup right here on the iPad mini. If you're willing to work with the smaller size, I do think the Note 9 is all you need when it comes to a stylus and a device to write on. So can the Note 9 replace the iPad mini in terms of software? Well, that depends on if you're more invested in the ecosystem of the iPad. But one thing I will say is that having tablet-specific apps stretch it out to this bigger display, making it a little bit more of a tablet-like experience, I don't think the Note 9 can necessarily replace the iPad here, as again, it has tablet-specific apps. But if you change the DPI settings and developer options on the Note 9, a lot of things scales to look a little bit more tablet-like on the Note 9. So I think that this really just comes down to, do you really care about having tablet apps or not? But software itself, again, this is not really comparable. It's iOS, Android. So you just got to decide, can I deal with Android on the Note 9? Because if you can, it does offer a lot that might potentially be all you need instead of investing in an iPad mini. Now, in terms of storage, there really is no comparison. We have a 512 gigabyte option that's not available for the iPad mini. We also have the ability to expand memory. So when it comes to storing on your device, the Note 9 actually has the iPad mini beat by tons of storage. So yes, the Note 9 can replace the iPad mini in terms of storing stuff on your device. So can the Note 9 replace the iPad mini when it comes to the speakers? Now, I would say yeah, because the Note 9 has a speaker at the bottom and up at the top. We also have stereo speakers for the iPad mini, which don't sound just as amazing as the 4 speakers you're going to find on the iPad Pro series. So while these are plenty loud enough, I do think the Note 9 is loud enough to where you won't be missing the speaker performance on the iPad mini. Now, one area where there's absolutely no competition is the cameras here. So this is not a Pro iPad we're comparing this up against, so you can't even compete here with the Note 9 with the iPad mini. So the Note 9 absolutely crushing win in terms of the camera, while also giving all that tablet-like functionality on the smaller display. Now on the iPad mini, all you do get is this basic single camera here on the rear, no flash, nothing like that. So this is just going to be enough to take documents, maybe a quick emergency photo, or even a photo of the family when you're trying not to miss a moment. You want at least something, but there's plenty of noise and definitely nowhere near the level of that on the Note 9. So yes, the Note 9 will replace the iPad mini in terms of camera. So before somebody says it, I'm just going to go ahead and say the iPad mini is much better value for the price, because you can do so much at $399 versus $999 for the starting price of the Note 9. But that has come down quite a bit for the Galaxy Note 9, so it's more like in the sixes now. And if you trade it in or find it used, you can probably even find it cheaper. Also, if you're a student, you're in school, iPads are much more likely to be accepted than phones. Teachers do not like seeing their students on phones, so using a tablet is definitely going to be more like acceptable. To think you're writing notes or something, even though you could technically do the same stuff on a tablet. For some reason, phones, you could text message, all that, not so much on the iPads as frequently and often. So definitely iPads are more accepted in schools. So in conclusion, can the Note 9 replace the iPad mini? And I would say for the right person who knows how to utilize the functions that the Note 9 does offer, absolutely, the iPad mini is something you might not need if you have a Galaxy Note 9. But at the same time, if you're looking for a powerful, affordable tablet that can do most of what the Note 9 can do, and also just does a lot for $399, the iPad mini is an excellent choice here for you with iOS, and it's probably going to get better as Apple's been getting a lot of heat about what iPads can do, so I'm sure they're under pressure to improve that software. We're looking forward to improvements in iOS 13. And for those of you saying this comparison is not relevant because, oh, you're comparing a phone to a tablet, well, I just did compare them, because when you're getting phones that are this powerful, it really makes you think, do I even need an iPad mini? What are your thoughts? Would you replace an iPad mini or just keep your phone instead of getting an iPad mini? Now, when we're talking about laptops and stuff like that, bigger devices, then no, it's not going to replace that. But when we're talking only 7.9 inches and 6.5 inches, phones are getting so big, it's like, do we really need this? Now, I made a video, the iPhone XS Max cannot replace the iPad mini because iOS limits that, but One UI on the Samsung with Android does not limit it at all. It does so much things that a tablet can do. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.